Good morning, everyone. Hope you are doing well. I'm here to chat to our subscribers in the live chat this morning. We'll be talking all things West Ham United. Yesterday's friendly victory over Dagenham Redbridge with Andy Irving scoring a banger. The Athletic, well, David Ornstein, who's the football correspondent for the Athletic, he has said that West Ham had a £15 million verbal bid rejected by Al Ittihad for N'Golo Kante. Ex-employee provided an update yesterday stating that no deals are close, however, linked us to Tomori, the former Chelsea defender, now at AC Milan. That's the newest transfer rumour. However, lack of progress on deals. The first team are off to USA today as we take on Wolves next Saturday, followed by Crystal Palace a handful of days later. So anything West Ham opinions, get it into the live chat and let's see what you're all saying. Gary said, frustrating lack of progress on any signings. The season is creeping up on us and still plenty of business needed. Red Hill Hammer said no to N'Golo Kante. Mark was impressed by some of the play yesterday, especially from James Ward-Prowse in an advanced role. He thinks it was exciting stuff. Good morning to everybody in the live chat. Michael Hammers, Chris, good morning to Wasim as well. Alan said, if you were the club, what would you do with Andy Irving? I know it's only pre-season, but he's becoming a bit of a cult hero. We've not even announced him. The club have tried to sort of sneak him in a little bit, haven't they? Let me just turn this light on, see if it helps. The club have tried to sneak him in a bit. After the game, I Googled Andy Irving because I want a picture for my thumbnail. So Andy Irving results last 24 hours because I wanted a picture from the match. And 4 hours ago, the club had put up a player profile on him on the website. So it was only just before kickoff, the club actually added Andy Irving to the first team squad on the website yesterday. But I've noticed they've interviewed him a little bit and stuff as well. They're starting to push the Andy Irving content out. We're here for it. We're ready to consume it. All they've got to do is serve it up. In regards to Irving, I think it's just let's just wait and see. He's only 24. He's quite young. I remember reading an interview with him. I think it's called Edinburgh News or something. It was an Edinburgh-based newspaper, which is where Irving is from, and he played for Hearts before going off to Germany and then moving on to Austria. And he did an exclusive with this local in Edinburgh newspaper, and in there he just speaks about how he moved to West Ham and he's looking forward to returning to West Ham and showing what he can do, and about how Tim Steidten became aware of him. Well, he never said that. The article says this, that Tim Steidten became aware of him because of their time in Germany. When he was in Germany, Irving, he was at a third-tier club, something Munich it's called, and apparently that's where Steidten came aware of Andy Irving. So we'll wait and see if anything comes of it. But I would imagine his wages are really low for a Premier League player. You know, it's quite common knowledge that Vladimir Coufal is the lowest paid player now that Ben Johnson has left. I wouldn't be surprised if that's no longer the case, and Andy Irving is the lowest paid player that will be part of the first team squad next season. George Earthy as well. Good morning to Leslie. Leslie would like to see some transfer action this week. Good morning, Barry. Thank you for joining me. Cyber is in Australia. Nick's asking about Irving as well. Is there any chance? I think so. I don't think we'll offload him. I think he might have. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year he maybe had between 5 and 10 starts overall and an additional 10 substitute appearances. I think he will be a part of the squad without really being an important figure. But we'll have to wait and see. I just think there's one or two players ahead of him in the pecking order, but he's becoming an option. I know it sounds really bad, but surely his aim this summer was to just show Lopetegui what he can do and become part of the squad next season. And I think he's on the way to doing that, actually, which is progress. I think it's progress. I'm happy with what I'm seeing from him. I'm trying to sort of. It's all fun and games, and it is all tongue in cheek. Not everybody's taking it serious. Some journalists are. So there was even an article last week about people saying Lopetegui out after the friendly on Monday. I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't even have a sense of humour these days, like people taking it way too far. But everything's all good. Stephen's positive at the moment about the beginning of the season. Bizarrely, even more so than winning the trophy. Well, that's a bit too far. Nothing can displace that feeling I had with winning the trophy. I'm feeling quite positive. I have to admit, this week's the first time I've been a bit frustrated with the lack of progress in the transfer window. I've been quite calm, and I'm calm. I'm still on the barometer scale. I'm still down the calm section. But I was hoping for progress this week because, a week ago we got told, Duran, we're waiting, he's at Copa America, but once that's finished, it's come to a conclusion, we'll make a move in. I was gullible enough to believe that. And listen, possibly we have, and we just don't know about it. But it felt like Copa America final came and went, and nothing happened. The rumours were coming out that actually Villa want too much money, but they wanted the same amount of money as they did before the Copa America final. So I'm just a bit unsure on that one. I'm getting a bit. I think it's because the boys go to America tomorrow. So today actually, sorry, the first team squad go to America today, and it's a bit like, well, I was ideally would have liked maybe one more signing in place to be on that plane. It was put out there that Lopetegui wanted 4 by the 1st of July. Well, it's now the 21st of July, and we've got 3. So I'm hoping for some progress, and quite a lot of progress in the next couple of weeks, because as someone mentioned earlier, the new season is starting to it's less than a month now. Less than a month till the Premier League kicks off. And Yusuf says that Kante could be a good short-term signing. Could really solid up the midfield defence, provided he keeps the form he had for the Euros. Could push us up the league while we develop the youth. Tomorrow's video will be about Freddie Potts or the transfer strategy. I might let you pick. I think one will go on YouTube, another one might go on Patreon at this point. I've got one about Kudus as well. I've got 3 topics in my head. Freddie Potts, transfer strategy, Mohamed Kudus. And one will go on YouTube, maybe 2. Another one will go on Patreon. I might let you pick what goes on YouTube. Never done that before. Probably because I don't like the idea of it. It's a bit of a egotistical thing to do, isn't it? I shouldn't have said that. If I could edit that out, I would. Andrew, good morning from Indonesia. He's on holiday from Australia. He's not worried. There seems to be a few moves by selling clubs needing to domino other sales. He's got a good feeling about the new season. The one thing I'll say is I think our starting 11's good. There's 1 or 2 improvements we need. But if you took all the players back, so Bowen, Sufal, everyone's back, we could field a strong team for the Aston Villa game. Areola, Sufal, this is what I'm guessing. I think it might be Zuma at this point. I know. Just work with me. Areola, Sufal, Zuma, Mavpanos, Kilman, Emerson, Alvarez might be touch and go, but he might make it. Ward-Prowse, Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen, Antonio. It's a strong starting 11. I think it would be nice to have 1 or 2 more players, but I think it's a strong team. It's not like last season where we played Bournemouth first game of the season. We literally had no new signings. Frank says Irving seems like he'll be coming off the bench when we need some creativity. Tony said Kante is a no for him. Wages too high. Give our youth a chance. We have them. Give Lionel, Locke, Messi a go. Swinging Irving, as Gonzo says. Gonzo says Iniesta, Irving. I'm not having Inverness Iniesta. That is like calling Kudus the Rwanda Rivaldo. It don't work. It's not even the right location. It'd be like calling Mark Noble the Plymouth Perlo. Why would you call him that? He's not from Plymouth. He's not from Inverness. You might have been to Inverness a couple of times, but that's it. There's Scotland's a big place. Inverness and Edinburgh, complete opposite sides of the country. I ain't having Inverness Iniesta. He can do better than that. Stephen said Irving will get as many minutes as Ings did last season. I'm not looking up how much Ings got. I'll just agree with that one. I'll just agree with it. Jamie said, I feel like we've got too many centre midfielders at the moment. I think Orford goes out on loan. Still leave Souček, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Paqueta, Potts and Irving for 3 places. Who would you let go if we're getting another like Kante? Well, my Freddie Potts videos to do with Kante. Really, I'll get your thoughts in, Jamie. My Sunday morning video is about what you guys want. It's an engagement video. See what the subscribers are saying. Paul says Zuma is done. Not new news, but boy, he can't play in Lopetegui's football. and possibly any football now. It's a sad thing. He wasn't great, was he? He was a little bit awkward. Oh, I've got 12 players. Oh, no, sorry. My Mavropanos Zuma had a slash. It was Mavropanos / Zuma because I think I didn't explain it really well. It's not Diane Abbott Mass. That's funny, but it's not that. I had 12 on purpose because I think if we had a Premier League match tomorrow, my prediction is Lopetegui would start Kurt Zuma and Max Kilman. However, it's 9:12 in the morning, and I can't be arsed with grief. Right? There'd be someone that would go, "Can't believe you started Kurt Zuma." You discover a lot of things on YouTube when you're doing videos and stuff. And one thing I've discovered is some people don't know the difference between an opinion and a prediction, and they really struggle to grasp the difference as well. Because sometimes I would say what I think Sullivan will do, and someone will say, "Well, I can't believe you want that to happen." It's just that's what, it's like I said, it'd be like saying, I think, myself and Gonzo always joke that you say, I'm thinking I'm going to have Chinese tonight, and someone will say, "Why do you hate pizza?" It's not, nobody said anything about that. And it's a little bit like that. It'd be like, I predict it's going to be sunny tomorrow, and someone will say, "Why do you hate, why do you want, no, sorry, but I predict it's going to rain tomorrow," and someone will be like, "Why do you want it to rain tomorrow, you weirdo?" So anyway, I basically bottled putting Kurt Zuma in 11, so I did Mavropanos / Zuma. That it was a take your pick one kind of thing. I was playing to the crowd. Simon says maiden friendlies will clarify who of the youth players are going to make the final squad. We need to see progress in the next week or so on new signings and get the unwanted sold ASAP. True is worried about Souček's minutes next season. It's hard. It's hard to see him fitting in the way they're quite quick at passing. But I'll be honest with you, when I watch Souček play for his country, I think he's better than he is at West Ham. I'm not just saying this. I genuinely believe this. When at the Euros, and in one or two of the qualifiers, now it's difficult to watch Czech play the qualifiers because obviously I watch Scotland, and if Scotland aren't on and England are, I'll watch the England, and there's usually one or two other evenings, but sometimes the Czechia will play when Scotland or England are playing, so I don't get to watch them. And I'll be honest with you, my third country to watch, if possible, is Wales. I can be quite partial to tuning in to watch the Welsh, so I don't really watch Souček for his country, bar the major tournament. And I thought he had a good Euro 2024, and I thought his passing was better. I genuinely do. I think he was quicker at releasing the ball. I thought he was a bit more skillful. It's almost like a different version that we see at West Ham, and I just think he's better. And I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it. Maybe it's because when you watch West Ham, you're very emotionally invested. And I think we can all be guilty of watching it through tinted specs. We've all got our favourites. You think you notice something, so you focus on it in the next match, and it can become a little bit of a biased opinion. Even if you don't mean to, it's unintentional. And I think when you're watching him play for his country and there's no emotional attachment there, I think sometimes you notice things you perhaps don't when they play for West Ham because of that investment. Hopefully that makes sense. But I generally think Souček was a bit better for his country. Gennaro says we desperately need to sign a proper striker, and some of the names we've been linked with concern me. I wouldn't worry too much. I don't believe 80% of the transfer rumours. I just don't believe it. I'm not as bad as one. Someone yesterday got angry that I believed in Kante story. And that's it. We can discuss that one very quickly. Like I said, David Ornstein, the football correspondent from Athletic, said we had a £50 million bid rejected. That's it for me. That's it. And it's not Kante. I did a video about it. I think it makes sense. I can understand why we're going after him. Good player. But it's expensive. And his wages, like I said, I know he's on 400 grand a week, but it's not like we're going to offer him 400 grand a week. Okay, we're just not going to do it. The most we've ever offered a player was Declan Rice, and that was 200 grand a week. And that was special circumstances. Plus, it was a 10-year contract. And so we ain't going to offer him that. If we did get to negotiate with Kante, it would very much be, I think, in line with our wage structure. Maybe he'd be the highest paid player on his own. We might go up to 130, something like that a week. It won't go much more than that. I'm not worried in regards to breaking our wage structure to getting N'Golo Kante in. But £50 million bid, that's enough for me. I thought 20 was expensive. I don't want to go above 15. I get it, though. I do get the pursuit of him. But yes, yesterday someone got angry at me for believing that transfer rumor. Do you know what? I still believe it. If you think David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, Darmesh from Sky Sports, Florian Plattenberg, ex-employee, and Sean Whetstone are all wrong, that's okay. That's your opinion. But you'll never, ever believe any transfer rumors. As I said to the guy, I take it you don't believe we're going to sign Max Kilman then, because they also reported Max Kilman. He didn't reply. I wait to reply, although I don't think I'm going to get one. John said at best we'll only get a centre-half and a striker. Percy thinks the Premier League is a lot quicker than international football. He doesn't deal well when under pressure. Kerr says Souček didn't become an international talent without having some talent. He's also, captain of his country as well. Moyes just didn't nurture or hold those talents. I disagree. I think Moyes utilised Souček very well with what Moyes wanted out of a centre midfielder. I think Moyes got the best out of him in terms of his goal threat. That's what I will say. Souček's goal threat at the Euros wasn't anything like I've seen at West Ham. He wasn't getting in the box as much. He wasn't arriving late. He was getting in for set pieces, but in terms of the open play, often we'd see him popping up in the 18-yarder, especially when you need a goal. Well, there's a few occasions Czechia did need a goal. He was outside the 18-yarder. He was the one giving it out to people on the wing to cross it. So I do think whilst we can throw a load of praise and criticism at Moyes, I'm trying to not talk about David Moyes. He's gone now. I'm trying to just focus on the upcoming season. And I find it uncomfortable to some extent. And I think there's one or two people talk about him too much. It's like even the friendly yesterday, people referring to David Moyes saying, at what point do you draw a line under it and move on? I did it as soon as he left me. I was like, well, that's it done now. But anyway, some players weren't good enough under Moyes, and Moyes didn't do enough for some players. But I think there were some. Moyes was almost like a really good manager for. Jared Bowen being one of them. I certainly would put Thomas Souček in there as well. I think he got what he wanted out of Souček. It wasn't really the ball playing side of it. He didn't want that. He wanted the defensive protection, the goal scoring threat. I think he got that personally. Mark says, could we show glimpses of what's possible with a fast and tricky fullback, such as Wan-Bissaka, perhaps? Paul said, and Max and Nathan play as a back two. Who goes on the right? It'll be Kilman. Kilman's done it at Wolves a little bit. He's been shunned out there because they've also had Totti and Bueno. They're also two left-footed defenders. So sometimes they played in a back three with those three centre-backs, and Kilman's had to go right centre-back. So it's not even just right of a two centre-backs. It's right of three centre-backs. So it would be Kilman that moves over. Liam says, back four, Ward-Prowse, Traore, Kilman and Emerson with Alvarez in front revitalises our defence and adds so much pace. Iggy says 90% of the transfer news is nothing more than speculation and clickbait, and I couldn't disagree more. As I always keep on insisting, we're a fan channel, not a news organisation. I think there's a big difference. My rule of thumb is what we do video-wise is what I discuss with my friends away from the screen. And I've always discussed transfer rumours with my friends. I still do. But I also discuss transfer rumours with nothing to do with West Ham with my friends. So at the minute, last night we were talking about Stuart Armstrong being on trial with Brentford. It's got nothing to do with West Ham. I mean, you say transfer rumours, that's factual. But my point is, it's still a transfer story. We discussed Man United's 60 million purchase of an 18-year-old centre-back. We discuss transfer rumours. So that's what we just try and bring as content, what you just discuss as fans. Maybe the fans just never indulge in transfer rumours, and that's okay. I get it. I completely understand. I just don't understand people clicking on transfer rumour videos to say they don't like transfer rumour videos. Just don't click it. Life's short. Honestly, I would much rather people didn't click on content they know they're not going to enjoy. It helps the channel if they do, But life's short. Just go and do something you enjoy. Just clicking on things you know you're not going to enjoy. I just think it's a bit weird. It's a very strange thing. And there's one guy in particular called Jason who does it in every video, just comments saying the video's crap, the content's crap, it's pointless, it's worthless. I'm a bit concerned, actually. It's almost like a fetish for him. Like, why are you doing this? Could you imagine doing the same thing every day that you know you don't like? I don't know. I watch an Emmerdale every day. Adrian says, for Kante, I think his agent's using Sullivan as a useful idiot to flush out other clubs. Whisper in the ear, stroke of his ego, and a bid comes in. Depends who's after him. I think the report suggested it was Steiden and Lopetegui that like him rather than David Sullivan. We'll have to wait and see. I believe it's Steiden and Lopetegui, but this goes back to what your expectations were of the transfer window with Tim Steiden at the helm. I think a lot of people were expecting just youngsters. Well, because I was never expecting that. I'm completely unfazed by the links to Kante. I think that lines up with what I expected from Tim Steiden. This is like 3 video ideas I've got. One of them is a transfer strategy, kind of why I'm calm and why these transfer rumours, while I don't believe them all, the ones I do believe don't shock me. I expected to be linked to a couple of really experienced players in this transfer window. I completely did because of Tim Steiden. But I guess, I don't know. I just have this is going to sound a bit egotistical. I'm just going to say I like German football. I like the Bundesliga. And I think my opinion of Tim Steiden's was different to a lot of people's when he arrived. Some people that love him accuse me of hating him, and some people that dislike Tim Steiden accuse me of loving him. I take that as a compliment. It means I'm somewhere in the middle. That's good. I'm pleased he's here. I'm still on the fence with him. I'm still waiting to see. I'm still waiting to see what Tim Steiden can do as director of football, and I'm still waiting to see if David Sullivan will allow Tim Steiden to do what he wants to do. I've been very suspicious from day one, and I remain wary. I'm a bit encouraged by Lopetegui's words when he arrived at West Ham. It was very much, that's the transfer guy. That was encouraging. Now let's see some evidence, and I'm still waiting. At the end of the day, we've signed 3 players. One's clearly a Steiden pick. One's clearly a Lopetegui pick, and the other one is just box ticket. It's an opportunity purchase in West Fodringham. So I'm waiting to see what happens next before I sort of judge Tim Steiden. Keith says, I heard they were coming back with 32 to 34 million for Kante. 25 million. 25 million is what Al Ittihad want. They don't want to sell him, but 25 million is the biting point for them. Way too expensive as far as I'm concerned. I like Kante. I'd be up for signing him if the finances made sense. Over 50 million, it starts to not make sense. I'm run away from that deal as far as I'm concerned. Cyber says Irving needs to learn English. He does have a very Scottish accent. He speaks German. He's fluent in German as well, by the way. When he was in Austria, people understood him speaking German more than speaking Scottish. Understandably, I guess. Eggy said, turns out Steiden doesn't rate Jonathan David. How frustrating is that? Is he the signing would ignite his hands? I don't have a strong opinion on Jonathan David either way, so I can't say too much. I find it difficult. I find it difficult to get upset or happy when we're linked to and then fail to sign a player that I don't know much about. Whereas my feelings towards, say, John Duran is stronger because I have an actual opinion on him because of what I've seen. In terms of Jonathan David, I might have seen him play a couple of games, and that's it. I've not seen him play much at all. So when we get linked to him, it's like, oh, that'd be nice, you know. And I get excited off the back of what our subscribers say, you know, like yourself, Vicky. You think this guy's really good. I think, well, all right, that's all right, because you get to know some of your subscribers' opinions and stuff, and you start to trust them a little bit. And there's 1 or 2 subscribers I know. I'm not going to say who they are. They might be in a live chat. It might not be. But if they put up a post saying, I really rate this guy because of X, Y, and Z, I'm taking that. I'm okay with that because I've seen their other posts in regards to players and West Ham and maybe David Moyes, David Sullivan, Tim Steiden, and I know our opinions aren't that far apart on a lot of things. So when he rates a player I've never heard of, that encourages me because I think, well, I sort of trust your judgment a little bit. I built up a bit of like a mental encyclopedia knowledge of some of our regular posters. That's why this show, I like doing this show. I get to know you a little bit, some of yous. And unfortunately, I've got to know Jason. Wish I hadn't. Simon says, yesterday's friendly showed we need a striker. I agree with that one. The only bit that I was a little bit frustrated with is the only bit I'm frustrated with yesterday was just a lack of chances created. Just there wasn't any. There was one or two half chances. That was it. And I know it's only pre-season. That's why I'm not getting too worried. But I agree with Simon. There was indications that we were lacking a striker on the Ings. Marshall played the first half. Ings played the second half. So there was a striker in the striking position, but it just wasn't enough for me. I did watch it thinking we were lacking a little bit of presence in the middle there. Kerr says not just Tim Steiden has doubts on Jonathan David, though. How many other clubs have gone for him? Ricky says, do you think Lopetegui can afford a transitional season with only a 2-year contract? Surely he has to get players in style. Ricky, this is sort of involved in my video over the next couple of days. However, I completely agree with what you've just said. Matt said, I know we have higher priorities, but are you satisfied with the left-back situation? Can we trust Creswell? Yes, I am, Matt, because we've got all the Scarls there as well. You know, we want... Emerson, Creswell, and then we've got Scarls. Learning off two really good professionals. We've never had an issue. I know people will say Creswell went on strike. I don't believe it. I don't believe he did, personally. So my opinion is, this is the 11th year of Alan Creswell, signed in 2014. So the 11th year of Alan Creswell, and we've not had one issue. Not one, as far as I'm aware. Well, as far as I'm concerned. And Emerson, no issues with Emerson as well. So he's got two ultimate professionals to learn from there. I think it's a really good opportunity for all his Scarls to show what he can do this season in under-21s, show what he can do, maybe go out on loan from January onwards, because next summer, Creswell will likely move on. Scarls has got a year to show that he can become back up to Emerson. And I think it depends on the success of West Ham. If we get European football, so this season we finish in the top 7, we win the Carabao Cup or something, we get European football, then I think we'd maybe need another left back. But should we be looking at Lopetegui's second season with no European football, I think you might find that actually having a youngster as backup, you're okay with that when you've only got, in theory, 38 Premier League games and a couple of cup games, failing any deep run into the competition. So European football will play its part, but for now, I think it's about getting Scarls ready, serve his apprenticeship so that he can replace Aaron Creswell next year. And if he's not ready, fine, we go back into the market. And if we're still hopeful of Scarls going on and becoming a top left back, you can go get an elder left back to replace Aaron Creswell. You can go get a 33-year-old on a short-term contract to try and get Scarls ready. I think that's my opinion. Hassa says, strange how Juve paid 30 million for Cabal a few days ago when Todibo loan fee would cost that. Well, they're trying to sign Coop Miners as well, aren't they? They're ready to sell Sule to Leicester, who we've also been linked to quite a lot. I think it's about 30 million he's going to Leicester, so it's a hefty outlay. But we know the price now. If we genuinely do want him that much, we'll make a move because we now know what it takes to get Sule out of Juventus. So quite a lot of clubs do this. I remember Liverpool with, it was Darwin Nunez or Luis Diaz. I'm going to get muddled up here. I think it was Luis Diaz. I think Spurs did all the hard work, didn't they? Spurs negotiated with Porto for Luis Diaz, got the deal agreed, and Liverpool went, excellent, we'll match that. Bid accepted, and then Luis Diaz chose Liverpool. But Spurs certainly did the hard work for one of the two players, and Liverpool just matched it and bought him at the last minute. We now know what it takes to get Sule out of Juventus financially. If we really want to make a move, I can't see it. It's a big fee for a winger. Suspect says Newcastle are sniffing around Jonathan David. Well, Wilson's injured again, isn't he? Or still injured, rather. He's broken. Him and Lewis Miley are both injured at the minute. Livramento's still not in training ahead of the new season. So there's almost like an injury crisis at Newcastle in pre-season. Eddie Howe did the least convincing interview I've seen in a long time by a manager. Basically said to the FA, come get me. It was how can I say I'm happy at Newcastle without committing my future to Newcastle? You know, I'm happy here, but if we don't have to share the same ambition, the dynamic won't work. So, right, okay, that's just a plea for the FA if I've ever seen one. So Newcastle's in a little bit of a state at the minute, almost. Kingsley said, don't know if you already mentioned what is the breaking news update on Ivan Toney. Are we realistically being linked to him? Kind of. The news a couple of days ago was that Brentford are slashing their asking price for him down to 50 million. How generous of them, because there's a lack of interest. And I think it's Man United. I think Man U were sort of the favourites to sign Ivan Toney. They've obviously gone and got Xerxes, I pronounce his name, Xerxes, the Dutch striker. They've gone and got him, so that's them out the running. Arsenal were linked to him, but it was never really quite strong. Obviously, they're signing Calafiori, so their money is going into him. So rumours, it leaves us and Spurs. Newcastle may enter the fray if they want a serious striker to compete with Isak, because he's injury prone. Isak misses quite a lot of games through injury as well. And Brentford have already signed Ivan Toney's replacement. He's only got 1 year to go on his contract, so they kind of need to sell him. I would argue that Brentford need to sell Ivan Toney because their model, and they're a bit different. A lot of clubs might look at it and go, well, is it the end of the world? Or we keep a top striker for another season? He walks out on a free. Didn't cost us that much anyway. But Brentford's model is about selling players at the right time. So we go completely against what they believe in by letting Ivan Toney walk out on a free. So they've almost got to sell him this summer. Maybe that's why we haven't made a move for anyone. Maybe we're just waiting to see what the landscape is with Ivan Toney and possibly make a move for him instead. We'll wait and see. I think I wouldn't rule us out of Ivan Toney. It's expensive, but I think it's almost a guaranteed success personally. Curse says he's hoping the reason we haven't signed Duran is because we still have a chance for Ivan Toney. It was very possible. Ricky says with the squad we have, how many first team starts do you think Guilherme will have? 15, 20? I'd be surprised with more than 20. I'm just guessing. 15 maybe. I think he'll get a reasonable amount, but it depends on a large part of it will possibly depend on Lucas Paqueta's betting allegation. If he's found guilty halfway through the season, Guilherme starts and they ramp up pretty quick. But I say 15. That sounds optimistic. I'm thinking about it. It's optimistic, isn't it? I think maybe 10 and 15. Between there, I think you'll get that many starts. It's just lack of European football is a bit of a hindrance for these kind of things because if we had the Conference League or even the Europa League, actually you'd be thinking, well, you'll get 6 group stage games, surely. And in some Premier League, before you're over 20 for him. So just without the Europa League, chances are few and far between because there's not that much fixture congestion either. Until you hit December, fixtures are one a week, really. So we've opportunities. He's going to have to wait for either Kudus Bowen to not be in good form or get injured or suspended or something, or us to not sign a striker and Bowen becomes a striker and he might get opportunities then. So I don't think he'll get loads. My expectations from Guilherme is low, but my hope is pretty high. David says he's back trialing according to X and Pitching Academy web. Oh, I've missed a comment from Freshfielder. I feel like I need to go find this one now. I cannot see it. Oh, Freshfielder says, how bad was Ollie Scar's injury? It was bad. He was out at the end of last season and he didn't go to Austria because of his recovery. So it's been quite a big one by the sounds of it. A good few months he's been out. So hopefully he's over it now. But it's pleased to see him in the squad yesterday and get on. Hopefully he's gone to America. I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't, just because he's sort of still in a bit of a recovery phase. I wouldn't be surprised if we leave Ollie Scarls, because under 21s have got some games. We play Maidenhead on Wednesday night in part of the Max Kilman deal. So he may stay behind and play in that game instead. He might go. We'll wait and see. I'm sure the club will be putting up pictures later and you might be able to spot him getting on the plane or anything like that. Anyway, right then, I'm going to disappear. 35 minutes. As we say, apologies. Thank you for joining me. Where you joined me live and got involved in the live chat, much appreciated. Or you've watched it later on in Sunday. I'm live most Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Depends when West Ham play. West Ham play on a Saturday, 9 a.m. Sunday. But if we play on a Sunday, it'll be Monday morning, the day after the game. But there's no game, still be Sunday. So next Sunday at 9 a.m. you're kicking around. Please come and join me. It's the interactive show. I look forward to actually seeing what everybody's thinking. So 3 videos. 1 will go on Patreon, 2 on YouTube. If you fancy encouraging me, you can get involved in the comments below. Mohamed Kudus, one about him. West Ham's transfer strategy, why I'm calm and why Kante makes sense, and then Freddie Potts / Flynn Downs. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it. It genuinely does help out the channel. Makes me very happy. Subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat, and I'll catch up with you later.